Would I be the asshole if I didn't tell my neighbors I took their kitten? I, a 19-year-old female, have neighbors who are a family of 6. They brought a cat when they moved in years ago. Since then, the cat has reproduced, and her kittens have reproduced multiple times because the family does not get their cats fixed. Recently, one of the cats that came from their original cat gave birth to another 2 kittens. One day, the neighbor girl, who is probably about 10 years old, pointed out that the kittens were born. I picked one up and instantly fell in love. The neighbor girl specifically said I couldn't have that kitten, even though there were 2. She didn't want me having that one. She's done this before with cats that me or my siblings wanted. The thing is, they keep their cats outside. We live along a highway where the cats always get hit. When that doesn't happen, they tend to just disappear since there is also a field behind us. I also know that the neighbor on the other side of me hates that there are always stray cats on his property. The other day, my younger brother told me to come outside because the kittens were out from under the neighbor's shed and in our yard. We spent probably 30 minutes trying to catch one, and finally were able to catch the one that I happened to like. I took her inside, gave her a bath, and have been taking care of her for the past few days. I even named her. Technically, I still live under my mother's roof. She specifically said she didn't want me to have this kitten over a month ago since I already have a cat. I know I'll be able to foster her to a friend if I have to until I'm able to move out. My younger sister said that the neighbors were planning on taking one of the kittens in, but they haven't done that in the years that they've lived next door. I'm not sure if they're actually planning on it. I love this kitten so much, and I don't want to ask them if I can keep her. I know the little girl really wants the one I have, even if it means still keeping her outside. I also feel bad about lying to their face about knowing where she went. Even though their kittens always get hit and disappear anyway, I will take this kitten to the vet to get her shots and fixed if I keep her. So, would I be the asshole if I kept this kitten? You have done nothing wrong. Good on you for taking this kitten, as history has shown that the family neglects to care for their cats, letting them wander off, get hit by cars, or have litters. If they ask about the kitten, just play aloof and suggest maybe it has wandered off since they leave the cats to fend for themselves outside. By taking the kitten in, you've not only given it a better life, but you've actually given it a chance at all. Would I be the asshole for just going through the motions? I, a 28-year-old female, am in a relationship with my partner, a 35-year-old male. We have been together for 6 years and living together for 4 years. He has 2 children, a 6-year-old female and a 10-year-old male. We are polyamorous and he has another partner, a 30-year-old female, who also has 2 children, an 11-year-old male and an 8-year-old female. She and I get along fine. Lately, the topic of us all moving in together came up. I told him I wouldn't mind as long as I had my own space because of a rocky start when they first got together. Now he has been telling me that it won't be the same unless the 3 of us share a bed. I have told him no to this, and she agrees with me that we need our own space if we are to keep a healthy friendship. Now she is questioning moving in, and is questioning their relationship. I am also questioning my relationship with him. He quit his job to try and start up a Mr. Fix-It business that is not bringing any money in. He's spending any savings I try to set aside, mostly for the children to have a good holiday. This will be the first year either set of siblings has gone without it, being with both of their biological parents, and I know how much that can hurt as I was separated from my family for a couple of years, and the first year was very hard. I have put distance between him and me and just keep the bills paid, food in the house, and the children as happy as I can while barely keeping us afloat. He is telling me that I'm unreasonable for asking him to cut back on drinking because it's the only joy he has in life. I asked what that made me, the children, and his girlfriend. He made a snippy comment, saying he's losing everything and everyone anyway. I tried to ask where all that was coming from and just got locked outside. That's where I'm typing this from. Would I be the asshole if I just went through the motions of life until they moved to their mothers? I know he would lose everything if I did this, as he refuses to work because he thinks he's earned this break and that he should just be able to start up the Mr. Fix-It business, and it will fix everything. I've tried talking to him and get met with comments like, "Why tell you? You can't solve anything," or "Talking isn't action." But no matter how many times I try to walk away, I'm guilted into staying because of the children, to the point he will wake the oldest up and tell them I am trying to abandon them like everyone else, and then he leaves the room. I am left to comfort the child and get them back to bed. I can't just leave because I can't save anything, and my work doesn't do direct deposit, so it's paper checks. I can't drive due to medical issues, so he has me deposit everything into his account, meaning I have nothing. I am trying to think of other options, but I feel trapped, honestly. So, would I be the asshole if I decide to just lifelessly go through the motions of life? You did nothing to be ashamed of. This post is just red flag after red flag piled on top of a heap of selfishness from this guy. He sounds selfish and manipulative, and staying won't end well. You deserve better, and should make plans to exit the relationship safely as soon as you can. Would I be the jerk if I called the police on my neighbors for their excessively noisy child? I am a 32-year-old female living in a pretty nice apartment complex. I have lived here for 8 months now. Everything is state-of-the-art, well manicured, quiet, and nice. Recently, things changed because I have new neighbors, a husband, wife, and 3-year-old child, who moved in upstairs, directly above me, about 5 months ago. We have high ceilings and hardwood floors. Ever since they moved in, it has been constant noise at all hours. For the first few months, I cut them some slack because I assumed they were probably getting situated, unpacking, moving furniture, and hadn't had a chance to put rugs down. I am also aware that sound carries quite a bit in an empty apartment, so I was trying to give them some time. I took it upon myself to get multiple fans and sound machines. I even bought earplugs. However, I live alone and am not comfortable with not being able to hear my surroundings. I am also aware that they have a very young child. I constantly hear that child running, jumping, screaming, and crying. There have been multiple occasions when they have had all of their windows and patio doors open, and the child is just screaming for upwards of 15 minutes. Part of me feels bad because I understand that kids will be kids, and I am sure that it is difficult to parent a little one at that age. The child has a right to play and have fun in their own environment. I do not have children, so I am trying even harder to be considerate of this. However, the noise is at all hours: 12:00 a.m., 5:00 a.m., 2:00 a.m., 2:00 p.m., etc. I fail to understand when this child rests and what kind of environment they have going on up there. I know it is not technically my business, but when I am not able to sleep through the night, take a nap, sit on my patio, or take Zoom calls for work because of the background noise, it becomes my business. One weekend, after 3 days of constant noise, I was at my breaking point and decided to type up a note saying, "Hey, welcome to the complex. I am not sure if you are aware, but the sound really carries in this building, and it has been super loud recently. If you could try to keep it down a little bit during the evening hours, that would be great." I did not sign it because I did not want any problems. I left it on their door, but absolutely nothing changed. I have contacted the leasing office multiple times now to ask them to please contact them and have them keep it down. This has not worked either. I sent an additional note asking them yet again to please keep it down. They took the note and put it back on my door. I am at my breaking point. I pay quite a bit of money in rent and have not seen peace in a while now. I do not want to be one of those crazy, crabby neighbors, and I get that they have a small child. Calling the police seems extreme, but what other choices do I have? You are not the bad guy in this situation. Living in an area with empty nesters, gays, hippies, and witches sounds ideal. Lots of dogs, almost no kids. Unfortunately, dealing with noisy neighbors can create a toxic environment, and contacting the office instead of direct confrontation might be the safest route. Documenting noise with video evidence and making complaints to the non-emergency line during quiet hours can help build a case. The unfortunate reality of apartment living is you never know when you'll have adjoining walls with loud people, but I wish you luck. Am I the jerk for wanting my partner to block their family? I am 26 years old and have been with my boyfriend, who is 34 years old, for a year and a half. I have met his family maybe 4 times total. It's always been cordial, but he has told me that there is a history of his mother being emotionally abusive to him as well as his sister, and his father is pretty complacent. I think his father enables them, but that's my opinion. Also, his mother has a gambling problem that their father funds, and that has resulted in multiple family bankruptcies in the past. A couple of weeks ago, I went over to their house to talk about moving into a new apartment with my boyfriend. While I was there, I was stressed about the potential move because I knew the financial burden would be mostly on me, and it gave me anxiety. They were comforting, and that visit was fine. We ended up not moving. This past Friday, my boyfriend's mother called him on his drive home from work. We went on a walk afterward, and on this walk, he told me his mother had asked me for $2,500. She was freaking out because the water heater at their house had exploded, and she was the only one around, and the plumbers needed the money. Since she is not my mother and I barely know them, I said no and told him to call his father. Before he could, his mother was blowing up his phone. He picked up another call during our walk, where she was just asking why I wouldn't give her the money and why we wouldn't help her. My boyfriend asked her if she wanted to talk to me because it was my money, and she said no, she just needed the money. After she hung up angrily, he called his father as I suggested, and well, his father was home. This made us angry because his mother was obviously lying to us. We figured she probably gambled the money, which isn't crazy to think because of her financial history. This resulted in a horrible weekend where my boyfriend's mother, sister, and father continued lying more and more to cover this up. His mother threw a fit and disowned him, then regretted it and apologized to him multiple times. The money ended up being bail for a family member, but I really don't care what it was for at this point. I think after treating me this way, and for treating him badly, they need to be cut out of his life. My boyfriend is saying he'll distance himself but not fully cut them out. Since there is no hard boundary being set, we are 5 days into this, and his mother texted me today saying, "Sorry for how we treated boyfriend's name and how that made you feel," which is frustrating. She should probably apologize for asking me for thousands of dollars and not just for how I feel. I'm so angry, and they don't seem to care that we're just trying to work and live a peaceful life. If I'm the one who needs the reality check, I'll take it. You're not a jerk for not wanting to see his family again, and you wouldn't be a jerk if you told your boyfriend that you will refuse to see them anymore. However, your boyfriend gets to decide whether he needs to cut them out of his life or not. Basically, protect yourself from his family and establish clear boundaries, but don't force him to address his own trauma. With that said, you do get to choose how you want to proceed with this relationship, knowing that dealing with his family will be part of the deal. Am I the jerk for not telling my best friend boss why I was going to be late? My best friend Daria runs an art studio. I teach a beginning art class as a contractor. I teach 3 or 4 classes per year, each 4 weeks long. These are adult classes. Most are 40 years old or older. In the last class, we have a little show where friends and family come to see the art projects the students have made. It is fun. Daria usually comes for the art show, which is the last 30 minutes of a class. For this particular class, I had an assistant, Jenny, helping me. Jenny is very talented, and Daria knows her. Jenny has been to all the classes and knows the students well. Jenny is a talented artist and a good teacher. On the night of the final show, I had to take my 20-year-old child to the airport before class. She is a frequent flyer, and our airport is small. She is also on the autism spectrum. Normally, this is not a problem, and I have dropped her off at the airport numerous times without an issue. However, this time, I had to come in to pay for an additional suitcase for her. When I was walking back to my car, she called me. She was in hysterics. I could not understand what the problem was. I headed back to the airport. We have a class group text, and I texted the whole group saying, "I'm going to be a few minutes late." Daria is in this group and received the text. I found my daughter and realized I was going to be more than a few minutes late. I texted Jenny and told her my daughter was having a meltdown, sent her a copy of the syllabus, and asked her to start the class. She agreed. I then focused my attention on my child, solved her problem, and sent her on her way. I ended up being 40 minutes late to class. Daria was already there, which is unusual. Normally, she just comes for the art show. Jenny was working with the students, and everything was fine. I apologized when I came in. After the class ended, Daria said I was an asshole for not explaining to her why I was late, and for asking Jenny to cover. I apologized and said my focus was on getting my daughter taken care of, and I needed the class covered. And Jenny would be there anyway. It honestly did not occur to me to explain to her before, as the class was taken care of, and I needed to deal with my daughter. Daria says I took advantage of our friendship, and if we were not friends, I would have called her and asked her to find a substitute. Daria is not qualified to teach the type of art I teach, so she could not substitute. Am I the asshole? You handled things appropriately. You were in a crisis situation with your daughter and did the best you could to manage it. You communicated that you would be late, and Jenny, a qualified assistant, was able to step in. It's understandable that your priority was your daughter's well-being, and the class was still covered. Daria's reaction seems a bit over the top, especially considering the circumstances. Am I the jerk for wanting my deceased mom's side of the family to attend my graduation party instead of my stepmom's? I, an 18-year-old female, graduated high school about a month ago. We decided to throw a party on July 6th because June was too busy for everyone. My stepmother married my father when I was about 8 or 9, and my mother passed away when I was 13. I barely saw my mother's family much in my life because she had limited visitation with my father, starting when I was 4, and was too high to notice my existence. Ever since my mother died, I have been able to get back into contact with my mother's side of the family. I talk to them a lot and have a lot to learn about my family's history. However, I have not been able to see them much since I was little. My stepmother's family gets invited to everything. I love them, but their constant presence sometimes feels overwhelming. I feel like they are there more for my stepmother than for me, given that they talk to me briefly and then go over to her to gossip about someone obscure in the family on Facebook. Recently, I have been planning my graduation party. I was super excited because this is an event that I get to pay for and customize to be my own. This also includes deciding who I want at the party. Yesterday, my stepmother came into my room and asked me who I was going to invite. I brought up the idea of inviting my mother's side of the family since I haven't seen them in so long. I expected her to be a little disappointed, but I didn't expect her to start yelling and asking if I was being serious and if I hated her family. I told her no, and that I just wanted my mother's side of the family to see my accomplishments as well. They didn't get to attend the actual ceremony because my stepmother used all 7 spots to invite her family and my father. She got angrier and told me that my mother's side of the family didn't care about me since they hadn't talked to me in so long. I asked why I couldn't just invite both families, and she said that we didn't have enough room at our house. My father took her side and said that I need to choose the family that has been there for me all my life, instead of the side that only began to communicate with me 4 years ago. Am I the asshole? You are not the one at fault. Your graduation party is a special occasion to celebrate your achievements, and you should be able to invite whomever you want. It's understandable that you want to reconnect with your mom's side of the family after being apart for so long. They need to learn that you're an adult now and that you're going to make decisions they don't like, so maybe negotiate on how many people from your stepmom's family can join. You shouldn't have to give up on what you want, but compromise is an important skill you'll need in life. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.